The entry point looked harmless. New tile in a Tijuana home. Beneath it, a shaft dropped to a 42-inch high corridor running under the border, 50 feet deep, with lights, air, and a track to move weight. On the U.S. side, it surfaced inside an Otay Mesa warehouse. Agents mapped its route, then called for concrete. If this sounds familiar, it is. Back in 2020, a similar tunnel delivered 4,400 pounds of narcotics and $29.6 million in street value. Today, we put the two side by side to expose how smuggling designs evolve and how investigators dismantle them. We are tracking 3 more major cartel takedowns this month. Subscribe so you don't miss the breakdown of the Sinaloa operation next week. The tiles looked new. The barricades told the real story. This wasn't a hole. It was a system built to fight time and law enforcement. Step 1 started under a normal floor in a Nueva Tijuana home, where a shaft dropped into hard earth and narrowed fast. The corridor ran roughly 50 feet down, a cramped gallery cut to 42 inches high and 28 inches wide, strung with electrical cable and LED tap-ins. Vent pipes traced the ceiling. A steel rail hugged the packed floor, clean enough to show recent use, with weld marks where crews joined sections. The route pressed north under the line and kept going, mapped at 2,918 feet with more than 1,000 feet inside U.S. territory. It tracked straight toward a quiet block of Otay Mesa warehouses where late-night forklifts and idling trucks sound normal. That cover mattered. Those barricades, short timber crosses and hinged panels set at knee height, didn't look like much until you tried to pass them in a crouch. They forced you to slow, twist, and lift your weight, exactly what a team chasing downhill would hate. Northbound, a crew with a cart could tip the panel, roll through, and drop it back. Southbound, anyone in gear would bottleneck. That delay bought minutes, and minutes mean one more load clearing the far end before a breach. The size was by design. People moved hunched and slow, but carts didn't tire. With a 42 by 28-inch profile, the tunnel cut less soil, needed fewer braces, and kept a low acoustic signature. Rails let sleds and small-wheeled carriers glide with the same effort every time, so a 2-person crew could move heavy weight with less talk and fewer stops. Less strain meant fewer dropped tools, fewer metallic clanks, and fewer chances for surface sensors to catch vibration. Ventilation and power told the intent. Without steady air, carbon monoxide from small engines or even breathing bodies builds fast, knocking crews down in minutes. Vent fans and ducting keep oxygen stable and temperatures livable on long shifts. Lights do more than make it bright. They reduce missteps, keep traffic flowing, and shrink repair times when a cart derails. Rails standardize payload cycles. They turn human power into a repeatable schedule. Load, push, swap, return. That rhythm is how a corridor becomes a production line. On the U.S. side, the path into an Otay Mesa warehouse plugged into a logistics shell already humming. Dock-high doors, ambient machine noise, and pre-dawn arrivals gave cover for movement that didn't want attention. A truck reversing late at night, a pallet jack beeping, a compressor kicking on. None of it stands out. When agents traced the tunnel end to end, that landing spot made sense. The operation didn't just need a hole. It needed a place where motion and sound disappear into the normal grind. Law enforcement moved in sequence. The Border Patrol tunnel team handled survey and measurement, marking depth, grade, and branch points, while Homeland Security investigations coordinated with Mexico to hit the origin. A warrant in Nueva Tijuana opened the source. The fresh tile gave them the entrance, and the team on the U.S. side set up to deny any future pass-through. The goal was simple: document fast, then make it unusable. Filling a tunnel sounds like pouring and walking away, but remediation is a precision job. Crews stage pump trucks, mix slurry to flow into tight cuts, and monitor pressure so voids collapse without blowing out the surface. They chase offshoots, inject at choke points, and plug re-entry seams where someone might try to dig back in. Thousands of gallons don't just fill space. They create a hardened barrier that fuses sand, gravel, and timbers into a dead mass. In the end, those barricades showed planning and tempo. The concrete cuts that tempo off for good, freezing a moving factory in place. If this is how they build, what happens when a tunnel isn't stopped in time? The 2020 case answers that. One tunnel under construction can be sealed. One that's live can flood a city with 5 drugs at once. The 2020 San Diego Tunnel Task Force case showed what a finished corridor looks like when money and planning collide. The span ran more than 2,000 feet from Tijuana to Otay Mesa and came up inside a warehouse built to hide noise and movement. The exit had reinforced walls to keep soil pressure from buckling during heavy traffic. Rail sections lined the floor to move weight fast. Lights ran overhead to keep crews moving without hesitation. Ventilation pushed steady air so loads and runners could cycle for hours. When agents executed a federal warrant on that Otay Mesa warehouse, they hit an operation in stride. The payload wasn't a single stack of one drug. It spread risk and met demand across markets at the same time. About 1,300 pounds of cocaine, 86 pounds of methamphetamine, 17 pounds of heroin, 3,000 pounds of marijuana, and more than 2 pounds of fentanyl. In total, 4,400 pounds valued at an estimated $29.6 million came off that line before it could scatter. For San Diego, that mix set a mark. Largest seizure of multiple drug types within a single tunnel. Mixed cargo gives the smugglers options. If one market cools or a distributor goes dark, the rest still sells. Cocaine moves through cash-heavy clubs and wholesale buyers. Meth fuels a different network that tolerates quick turnover in smaller lots. Heroin rides long-standing opioid pipelines. Marijuana uses bulk transport and local breakouts. Fentanyl sits in microloads that hide inside other consignments. One tunnel feeds all of them at once. That forces investigators to split attention across parallel supply chains rather than crush one node and end it. Fentanyl changes the risk profile. It's compact, lethal in tiny amounts, and easy to blend or conceal inside larger shipments. That means a tunnel can move a city-level threat with minimal space and minimal tell. A few pounds can seed thousands of street-level doses. For interdiction teams, the danger isn't only about money. It's about public safety and the speed at which a lethal substance can permeate markets if it clears the exit. The lift in 2020 ran as a coordinated play. Homeland Security investigations took the lead on the U.S. side. Border Patrol brought the tunnel expertise and ground sensors. DEA handled drug processing and intelligence links to distribution. The U.S. Attorney's Office guided charges and asset moves. Local support from the San Diego County Sheriff's Department added manpower and site control. Across the border, Mexico's Fiscalía General de la República and Secretaría de la Defensa Nacional provided critical cooperation that boxed in the south end and protected the evidence chain. That alignment is how a hot tunnel gets neutralized without losing what matters. Every piece of engineering in that tunnel served throughput. Reinforced walls kept collapses from slowing movement and prevented surface anomalies that draw attention. Rails standardized cycles, load, push, recover, so crews could hit repeatable time windows. Lights and ventilation cut injuries and confusion. The goal isn't comfort, it's rhythm.